Okay, first garden tour of 2026. Getting a later start than normal, which does mean we're gonna miss a couple things that have already bloomed, but there's still some stuff coming, like this Dutch iris here that looks like it's gonna bloom. What we've missed is this coral honeysuckle, which has the last one on there, but we still have snapdragons going. Snapdragons, snapdragons, and then we have bearded irises, and these are about to bloom. It's gonna be exciting. This is their first. They were planted not last July, but the July before, and this is the first time that they're blooming. And we're gonna go backwards this time. So if we come this way, we have the soapberry tree, which is coming back nicely, planted last year. We do have some crepe myrtles, which were actually at the house next door, and then they sprouted up over here after that tree was cut down, but I like their color, so I'm going to leave them alone. And then we have another bearded iris there that's going to bloom. Some bearded irises have already bloomed in this bed, and then we're having a second flush. We have oregano here, which is doing really great. I kind of planted it so it would become like a ground cover. I wanted just like the oregano and the bearded irises kind of poking through from them to get rid of the weeds like those. So it's doing pretty good. This is all one that is slowly but surely taking over. So happy with that. A new addition is this American wisteria. So not invasive like I think it's a Chinese wisteria, but it is going to climb up this tree here, and it is blooming. Very pretty blooms. There we go. And then as we come into this first bed, really all we have right now is mostly flowers, which is still great. We'll start, actually, before we look at those awesome roses, let's start here with, this is a chocolate bell pepper. I think that says chocolate. Yeah, a chocolate bell pepper. That is the Cuban oregano there. We have the strawberries from last year, which actually came back and did really well. There's one strawberry there. I can see another one hiding under here, or a few more hiding under here. There they are. Then we have the dahlia that's coming back nicely. This is a volunteer Korean mint. More strawberries there. This is the lavender martini agastache, and there's also scallion in like every bed, and a lot of it's blooming right now or going to seed, which is fine. At one point I will just cut everything back, but the bees and the wasps really like the blooms, so I'm going to leave those alone. The chives, which came back, which is awesome because this is like the first time I've had chives just actually sustain and come back. And then the roses have really been showing off so far this year. They're doing really, really good. This climbing rose, it's very happy. I tried to prune it kind of aggressively in the fall. There's still a lot that like this will have to go, because ultimately it'll grow into this walkway. There are thorns, so I don't want that to happen. So it is gonna have to go. So even though I pruned it aggressively, it's still a pretty aggressive plant. But I think it was happy with the prune, because this is like the most bloom I've seen it do. So that's great. Then here we have a poppy, and then this one, I think it washed off, so it will be a surprise. I'm pretty sure this is a shishito pepper. I think that is either another volunteer Korean mint, or it could be a honeysuckle. Not honeysuckle, huckleberry. So we will see. It's kind of a watch and wait there. And there's another little seedling there. That's a watermelon. And then lots of scallion. And then back here we also have some peas that have been planted to climb up and over. And then hiding in amongst the peas is a tomato right there. We have another volunteer Korean mint, and the only Korean mint that I actually planted. And then here's a calendula. snapdragon, and potentially more Korean mint or huckleberry. We will see. Then as we come into this next bed, it's very, very exciting. These are the blackberries, and this is the first year the blackberries actually blooming, which means I will actually get some fruit from here. Last year, again, I actually pruned it for the first time too, just because it's so aggressive. And I put up this little railing trying to keep it from getting into this middle area, because last year it was in the middle area. I couldn't walk past it because of all the thorns. So I pruned it back, and now it's happy and it's producing. And then I plan to do the same thing this year again, prune it pretty hard, cut away all these because they bloom on second year. So once all of these areas produce, they're not going to produce anymore. So those will all get cut away. And then the new ones, like this one here, will be allowed to grow up and produce for next year. And then they're also just all over the actual ground and escaping the bed. So I need to cut all of that back. And then we have a blue, mealy blue sage here, which is doing really, really good. This was actually supposed to be a temporary spot for it, but I haven't had the heart to ever move it. So it's been here for like 2 years now. And then there is an onion there. I think there's another couple here. It was just like I have too many sets, I need to put them somewhere, so they ended up in this bed. And then way under there, let's see if we can get around all the thorns. Unfortunately, this is a thorned blackberry, which I wish it was thornless, it would be so much better. But there is a strawberry hiding under there, and this is probably, I think this one was the first strawberry I had that actually overwintered, and so it's in like year 3 or 4 in there, and it does have a little strawberry in there. I just have to fight all the thorns if I want to actually get to it. But I'm really happy that the blackberry is producing this year. And then we'll look at these trees. This is the pear tree. It also got pruned because I didn't want it to get too tall. I was trying to keep it at a manageable height, so I just kind of topped it. So this is the plum tree back there. It's very young, so it was already pretty short, and I'm just working on keeping up with these suckers that are coming up and keeping those at bay. This whole area got planted up and mulched and made to look nice. This will be more like a wildflower pollinator garden. I have put down wildflower seeds in this whole area, but I have these very persistent weeds right here that no matter how much I cut them, they keep growing back. So I've had, like in past years, I've tilled and then put the seeds down and all this, and this weed continues to come back. So slowly but surely, I think I've decided to just take areas over and plant plants in those areas instead of just relying on the wildflower seeds. And then we have the pond going on there. And then this is the pomegranate, looking really good. I have had a couple stems that just decided to die. Not really sure what that's about, but lots and lots of new growth in there, so I'm also not too worried about it. We'll come closer just to look at these pretty flowers here, which I don't remember planting. So these might have been in the seeds at some point, some of the wildflower seeds that I've thrown down at some point, and there they are. Technically they're in my walkway, but it's okay, I just go around them. And then this was the original pollinator garden, and it's doing really well right now too, minus that mealy blue sage there that I tried to transplant about a week ago. And I hope it will bounce back. I hope the roots are okay and it'll come back, but everything else is doing really well over there. We have some crepe myrtles in the back that are doing really well. And then we'll come here. This is a desert willow, which is a native to the area tree. Pretty flowers, and it's great for hummingbee and other pollinators. This is the pineapple guava, which is doing pretty good. It actually put on new growth, made it through winter. We did have a little bit of damage. It had a split right there, and I kind of like taped them up. So hoping that they would mend themselves. And I mean, the branches with the splits, with the branches that are on the split have new growth. So I'm feeling pretty happy about that. And then if we come this way, we have the Barbados cherry, which I actually thought was dead, and you'll see in a little bit that I bought a replacement cherry for it. And then when I came to plant the replacement cherry, because I was like, I like that spot, I'm going to put it in the same spot, I found out that it actually wasn't dead, and it was springing back from the base. It had just died back in the winter, but was very much alive. So saved it, and now I have 2 Barbados cherries. In this next bed here, we have lots of strawberries, which are also producing strawberries, which is great. Oh, that one's probably going to be eaten. And then we have another melon plant there, another calendula here. Now we have a poppy. This is a Turkish bell pepper. It's like a long, skinny sweet pepper. I should say a Turkish sweet pepper rather than Turkish bell pepper. And this is a jalapeno. And actually, that might be a huckleberry seedling. So on the other side, they're probably more Korean mint. This was a cucumber. Cucumber was planted here like 2 days ago. So I planted out a few cucumbers and none of them are left. It's like something specifically went around just eating the cucumber seedlings. So I'm gonna have to figure out something else for that. There's another strawberry. And then in this bed, we have a shishito pepper. We have a volunteer, what is this called? Bachelor's button. Cornflower, also known as cornflower. We have a gomphrena. We have a Scotch bonnet, which isn't the healthiest, but we're gonna see if it recovers. In the back, we have that's a sunflower, and then next to it is a volunteer that I hope is also a flower. It won't be a sunflower, but I'm hoping maybe like an African marigold or something like that. And then the grape has done really well. There's the grape, and very excitingly, let's see if we can find one. There are signs that I might actually get grapes this year, which will also be the first time. There it is. So there we go. I've seen a couple little micro bunches like that. So hopefully we get some grapes. This little area, like if this were to produce, I definitely need to support it on the actual structure. So we'll see, but that's exciting because the grape's been there for like 4 years and this is the first time it's producing. Another blue mealy sage. And then this is a volunteer. I think it's callaloo. Might be a huckleberry, not 100% sure. We'll see. There's mint that was planted in this bed. There's another melon. More volunteers. That one looks a lot like the blue mealy sage here, which if it is, that'd be great. I could use it to replace the one that I might have killed transplanting it. And then back there we have another sunflower. And then this whole bed is also seeded with corn, which actually one might be coming up right there already. I seeded it a couple days ago with maybe about like 12 or so corns. We'll see. Corn kernels, maybe. In these, we were again going for wildflowers. Sprinkled some seeds, not really getting much. And then I also planted the tulip bulbs first and then sprinkled wildflower seeds on top, figuring the tulips would be spring and then the wildflowers would come in for late spring or early summer. Except the tulips are just now coming up. Very delayed. These are all weeds. I haven't seen any of the wildflower seeds come up. These tulips have come up better. That one looks like it's going to bloom soon. And then this pot also has some poppies. So that's good, like California poppies. And then this is the other one. Those are all weeds. So just not a lot of success with doing the wildflower seeds. And then as we come into the next bed here, this is a hollyhock. This will be the first time it blooms as well. There's a lot of things that are doing things for the first time. This one's been here about 3 years, and there's the bloom to come. It should be like a dark black, I believe. So we'll see. Its buddy used to be on the other side over there, and it didn't make it through the winter. But this one did, and seems like it's very happy. This is the Spanish lavender, which is coming back well. That's a tomatillo. These are some volunteer zinnias. And I believe that this is a volunteer perilla, or a lot of them. They are all over the place. And then more volunteer zinnias. So I just left this whole area, so we'll see what survives. There is a tomato. This is a serrano pepper. This is another chocolate bell pepper. There is another poppy. That's another tomatillo. That was labeled as a Scotch bonnet at the store. I bought that from a nursery, so we'll see if it actually is a Scotch bonnet pepper. And in the very back is a coreopsis that I planted about 2 years ago. And usually they bloom the first year and it did nothing. So this year it does look like it's getting ready to bloom. So fingers crossed. And then our final bed here before we hit the other pots. This is all garlic and onion. And then this is broccoli seedling I put in last, I think like fall 2024. And I didn't really get to harvest it last year. It was very much under attack from the caterpillars. It survived the attack, kept growing, so I just left it in there. There's a carrot that is well past eating time. Oh, there's also another cornflower or bachelor's button. More perilla volunteers. There's a calendula. There used to be another cabbage and Swiss chard here that disappeared. Like little seedlings I planted that disappeared. There's a strawberry, and there are 2 more cabbages, also from last year, and then a cabbage that refuses to give up, and so I'm gonna keep letting it try, even though I know I won't get anything from that. And then more onions and garlic there. Then if we come over to new pot here, this is the fig plant. It pretty much died back in the winter, and this is it springing back. It's less of a tree right now, more like a shrub. So I'm gonna leave it though, see what it does. I don't expect it to produce this year because it died back so much. There is the other Barbados cherry that I bought. And these were some extra peppers that I had. These are shishito peppers, and these are the Turkish sweet peppers. And then we have our blueberry. This is a tried and true. It's been here the longest. It's done the wellest. It's done the best. And so it's just now leafing out. They're a little bit behind this year, but that's okay. And then this is the blueberry that I bought last year. I don't actually remember the variety, but it is still alive. If it will focus, there are little leaves trying to come out there. And so there is hope for this one yet that it will, in fact, wake up, fully leaf out, no problems. All right, that's the end of the first garden tour of 2026.